Hey ink drinkers, welcome to my humble abode. If this is your first visit, I'm Em, and I am working on my first novel. We'll see how it turns out. I decided I needed to beef up, revamp, fix my writing routine. So that's what I did this week. I wanted to be more consistent because consistency has been my pitfall for sure. I'm going to push through all the things that are holding me back and really go for this writing gig. I found inspiration because I was watching some writing routine videos here on YouTube. I saw a lot of people were trying out different famous authors' writing routines, and while I admire those, they definitely are not something that can work for me. I think the most similar routine would be Stephen King's routine, and I'm sure you can find more information about his everywhere. You could read his book on writing. And I didn't think much about creating a routine. I just kind of found pockets of time to write in my room when my husband's home so he can keep an eye on the younger kids and I can, have some peace and quiet. But it just wasn't working for me anymore. There's just constant chaos, noise, and not in a wild way, just enough that it breaks my concentration. And there's just so much going on that it's hard to carve out that time in the middle of the day. And by the time night rolls around, I am ready for bed or ready to just chill and not have to think too hard, which is very unlike my former self. You could tell I'm getting older because I am no longer that night owl that wants to stay up all night creating and consuming movies and books and things like that. I definitely enjoy going to bed. I still go to bed rather late because I am in a house full of night owls. I was struggling to find that time. And then I realized, Emily, you get up before the entire household so you can have some peace and quiet in the morning. Why don't you start writing in the morning when you get up? So that's exactly what I did. It really has proven to be the best time of day for me to write. Now, I have decided to give myself the weekends off if I choose to give myself the weekends off. This morning, I decided to sleep in. It's a Saturday, and it's been kind of a draining week, not in a bad way. I just have felt a little extra tired this week. And so I decided to give myself this morning off. Now, if I find little pockets throughout the weekend to write or edit, then I'll do that. So before I start writing, I just kind of clean things up around me the best that I can and grab myself something to drink, possibly something to eat if I'm hungry at that point. And I listen to a song, or on Friday, I listen to quite a few. In my case, I have been listening to songs that I've kind of loaded onto a soundtrack of sorts to go along with the project I'm working on. So that helps a lot, just to kind of get in that mind frame. So I get everything situated. And I know people say, you can't wait, you can't be cleaning, that's a distraction. No, you don't understand. I cannot look at the messes. So I need to make sure that everything within my line of sight is at least to my standards. I'm not perfect, but I want my surroundings to feel cozy, clean, and just a worthy workspace. After all that, here's how the week went. On Monday, it was kind of a let's see what works, let's see what doesn't work, kind of a setup. This entire week was, but Monday especially, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I was going to try to write in the mornings. Or edit, I should say. So that day was my longest editing session. I was able to get in an hour and a half of work because it was just so quiet. It was a great day to work. And I feel like my focus was really in line with what I needed to do. So I am thankful for that. I was able to go over 3 chapters. I started on chapter 5 because I had recently edited the last half of the book because my husband was alpha reading and made a couple notes, and then I wanted to finish it out because we just have not had time for him to read through it. And so Now I'm starting over. And so at this point, I was on chapter 5. So I was able to edit chapters 5 through 7 in my binder here. I've got the tabs of, there's a lot of tabs. I've got the tabs of everything that I want to fix. And I'm going to go back through on the computer and fix those things as soon as I get through the entire binder. One of the problems was the alarm didn't go off. So I started late, but I did have a good editing session. The song I listened to that morning was Join Me, the Razor Blade Mix from him. I also put on Ambience on my TV to accompany my writing / editing session. So all the ambience I used, I will link below so you can check it out and see if it's something that could accompany your writing or reading or studying. One key thing I did was set my phone in work mode. I did not want to be contacted by anybody. I tend to get phone calls or texts or whatnot every time I'm sitting down and do not want them. So I set it to work mode. Of course, I left my immediate family that lives within the house. I set it up so they could get a hold of me without trouble because I do need to know if something's happening within my household. But they were all sleeping when I started, so I didn't have to worry about that. Along with editing chapters 5 through 7, I went through the entire book and highlighted any of the scene breaks that differed from the typical scene breaks. I want to get everything kind of lined up so that when I go to format, it's clear, like, this is what scene break is. On Tuesday, I was able to edit about 40 minutes uninterrupted, which was great. And I was able to edit chapters 8 through 9. I had a lot on my mind that day. So I feel like it was kind of a struggle to focus, but not so much that I couldn't get things done. The song I listened to that morning was Swept Away by Flyleaf. I love that song. On Wednesday, I was able to get an hour in, which was great. The song I listened to was Change by Deftones, one of my favorites. I was able to edit chapters 10 through 12. The note I wrote to myself for this day, excuses, excuses. Super tired today, stressed due to unrelated junk. I was stressed about visits and getting stuff clean for a visitor. That's all it was. And that definitely goes to the forefront of my mind. If I know somebody's coming, I see every little speck of dust and dirt and grime and every little thing that's out of place. And it is something I need to work on because it really stresses me out far more than it needs to. It's my house. Why do I need to worry about what other people think of it? But you know, that's just how I am and I gotta work through it. I had trouble focusing at first, but I did edit a couple chapters, so that's good. Thursday was my worst day, I would say, as far as time spent editing. And this is where I said to myself, you need to give yourself grace on these harder days. I was absolutely exhausted on Thursday. Thursday and Friday, I feel like I was so tired. So it was a struggle to get started for sure. I was distracted by so many things, but I did edit one chapter 13. So I'm glad that I was able to do that. And you know what? You win some, you lose some. Thursday was just not my day. And then on Friday, I was able to edit a little under an hour. Friday was the day that I listened to mini songs while I prepared my coffee and things like that. So I listened to Unheavenly Creatures by Coheed and Cambria, Till It's Gone by Yellow Wolf, Passive by A Perfect Circle, Snuff by Slipknot, So Cold by Breaking Ben, and Wicked Game, the cover that Stone Sour did. Yeah, Slipknot and Stone Sour make the list a couple times there. So I edited chapters 14 and 15, and chapter 14 is a hard chapter for me. It gets a little bit deep, and I ended up crying. I made myself cry. But on the flip side, I had noticed that I have an inside joke to myself, something that makes me laugh. You know what? We all need that little reminder that life can be funny, life can be ironic, and we just need a laugh now and then. So I'm really glad that I did that, and I don't think it was intentional. I don't recall intentionally putting in inside jokes to myself, but that's what happened. It's probably something that will only make me laugh unless someone's been through that exact thing. So we shall see. We'll see when other people read it. That is how my week went. I was able to edit from chapters 5 through 15 this week. So I would say that's a lot better than I had been doing, because I would edit and then go months, weeks, whatever, without touching it again. So I am going to try to keep this momentum going. Next week, I am going to start right back in on this routine and edit first thing every morning before I do anything else besides cleaning up my space around me, because that must be done. I'd love to hear from you. If you are a writer, do you have a writing routine, or do you just tackle it when you can? I'm finding this routine has helped me a lot. Tackling it whenever I can does not work for me. I have found out the hard way. So I'm really glad it clicked this week. I'm glad that most of the days I was able to get a couple chapters done that day within an hour. And we'll see if I can maybe eventually start getting up an hour early so I can get 2 hours in each day. Do you think I can do it? We'll see. If you are writing, I'd love to hear all about your journey, all about your routines, what you do differently, what you do the same. I'd love to hear it all. So comment down below. Let me know if you have a channel, because I am not following very many writing channels, and I should probably do that, because we need some community up in here. All right, that is all from me for this video. I hope you guys have an amazing day or night. Cheers to writing things that make us laugh and cry. Until next time.